Stuart and I are talking about trolls, and specifically internet film and TV trolls, because we are in a society now where if you say, I like that episode, insert anything you want in there. Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who,
DC, Marvel,
Marvel, Ghostbusters, Spider-Man.
Madam Web, Madam Web. I enjoyed that film.
You're wrong. It's
No.
no. It's not. You're wrong. It's terrible. I hate it. Okay.
That's okay.
Why do you hate it? It's woke.
What's that? What do you mean? What do you mean it's woke?
Why is it woke? They're pushing the message down your throat.
What message? Superheroes been around for ages.
What message? Oh, go watch this person talking about it. They'll explain it. So you can't explain it.
Can't no.
In particular, Doctor Who. Oh, they've ruined the legacy of the show. How?
And we are going to focus on Doctor Who because I have done my homework, Fraser, and I have watched all the 3 episodes that you mentioned. I'd seen the first one, the church, that one. I'd seen that at Christmas when it aired. Yesterday, and for some reason, we will probably disagree on some of these episodes, by the way, but don't fall out with me. I can back up my case. Space Babies. I can't remember why I remember that title. Maybe they used it in the episode a couple of times, but that didn't annoy me. So I watched that, and then this morning I watched The Devil Child.
The Devil's Cord.
The Devil's Cord. There we go. Yeah, that's how much. So, for sort of full disclosure, I like Doctor Who. Tom Baker was the first Doctor that I remember. I've seen bits of Doctor Who over the years. I haven't seen Capaldi episodes, and I've seen very small amount of Jodie Whittaker. So I am not like an expert in Doctor Who like you are. So full disclosure there.
This is why I said to you, go watch these 3 so
I did.
You're at least keyed into what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Throughout this, I'm going to smatter in genuine tweets that I was sent with when I was defending Doctor Who.
Yeah.
This came about, and we'll put it at the top, right? The reason this came about, and I said, I'm going to do this for Stuart because I need to get this off my chest. And you got a whiff of it, and you were like,
I did. I went, why are you including me in this thing? And then the guy apologized.
Right, I'm bringing in the big guns. I'm bringing in Stuart.
Yeah.
2 straight white men talking about diversity. Of course, that's nothing could go wrong. So, for the first time ever in Doctor Who's history, in the UK, specific to say, need to say it, in the UK, they put the first 2 episodes of the new series on iPlayer first at midnight. And then 18 hours later, it went out on BBC One at 6:20 and like 7:15 or something. So it was before Eurovision at 8 o'clock. But not Eurovision. So it was a whole 18 hours of people watching it before it went out on telly. And I know people were watching it because my Twitter was filled with everybody excitedly watching it. The reason it went out on iPlayer first is because Disney in America have paid for distribution rights, not production rights, not creative rights, not we can do what we want rights. They're doing nothing, but just so they have the rights to stream this season of Doctor Who going forward and the 60th anniversary specials with David Tennant and Captain Tate on their worldwide platform. And Disney have said, we're giving you £100 million. It's going out at this time all around the world. If you want to get it out at the same time on the BBC, you'll have to put it out at midnight on iPlayer. And the BBC were like, oh, hands are tied. They're giving us £100 million. Okay, we'll put it out at midnight for anyone who wants to watch it at midnight. And then we'll put it out on telly at the normal time for anyone who wants to watch it normal time. Not uncommon, right?
So pause for a quick second. So the BBC still make Doctor Who.
BBC.
The BBC go, here's the episode of Doctor Who. It's finished. It's got credits. It's got next time on Doctor Who. Here you go, Disney. Whack it on your servers. You can release it. Disney aren't going, actually, can you change these pages, please, and do some new scenes and stuff? Because some people seem to think that's what the case is.
And Russell T Davies, the showrunner of Doctor Who, made an honest note where he said that when they did the 60th anniversary specials, Disney made a suggestion on how to open it to bring new fans up to speed. And Russell went, that was a great note. So he did it.
Yeah.
So Doctor Who used to be solely made at the BBC. It's now no longer solely made at the BBC. It's now a Bad Wolf in Cardiff. The people in charge of Bad Wolf are the people that made Doctor Who the first time around in 2005. So
the Christopher Eccleston.
Yes, David.
Yeah.
So makes total sense that Bad Wolf now have it. Great place for them. They do a lot of great telly. His Dark Materials, Discovery of Witches, all great stuff, right? So, but deal with Barb, BARB, and they're the independent company who track the ratings on terrestrial TV. So Sky, like Sky, BBC One, whatever. Anything that's not Netflix and Disney.
Live broadcast, basically.
Live broadcast, right? What they don't include is in the overnight number is the iPlayer. So they don't include anyone who watched it the 18 hours beforehand. If I started watching an iPlayer at 6:15 p.m. and it goes on BBC One at 6:20 p.m., my view does not count on the overnights. You have to wait a week, and then they give you the 7-day number of everybody who's watched it in the 7 days. Then they give you the 28-day final number, which includes, because the 7-day catch-up doesn't include computers, laptops, iPhones, smartphones. It only includes you watch an iPlayer on your TV. If you watch Doctor Who right now on your phone and iPlayer, it would not count on the 7-day catch-up.
I watched it on my Roku box this morning, and I watched it on my smart TV on iPlayer yesterday for the other episode. So that'll
count 28-day figure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the overnights came in at 2.6 million and 2.4 million. And there's a whole group of Doctor Who fans who can't cope, and that's a word they love to use. They can't cope. It's a new word.
What, can't or cope? Both.
Can't cope that this show is now led by a black queer actor called Chuti Katwa. They can't cope that there's a trans character in it. They can't cope that there's trans people in it. They can't cope that Doctor Who, a show about a time-traveling alien that can change their appearance.
2 hearts, I might add, is 2 hearts.
A box that's bigger on the inside than the outside. An alien that can literally look however they want to look, and has looked like a straight white man for 12 times.
Since like the 60s, if not before.
A woman, and by God, that was the beginning of the end. What's the headline? No bras in the TARDIS. Yeah. And then it's now a black doctor. Oh no. That's ruining the legacy. So anyway, in comes these numbers, and they go, "Oh, it's the lowest rated episode of Doctor Who. R.I.P. Doctor Who. It's dead." First point, no, it's not. That honour goes to The Legends of the Sea Devils, which was a Jodie Whittaker episode, and it came in at 2.2. I think it ended after 28 days with about 4.5 million. Still not great, but still on par with the rest of Doctor Who at that time, including the Peter Capaldi episode. So when it was a straight white man, it was still the same amount of numbers, right? Viewing habits drastically changed since 2005.
Yeah, of course. Well, back, I mean, you go back before 2005, there used to be 3 or 4 channels. There was no iPlayer, there was no catch-up TV. For many years, there was no ability to record something and watch it later before VHS. So you're talking like 70s and stuff. So if you wanted to watch something on TV, you had to sit your butt down at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night and watch it. And therefore, the viewing figures were massive for everything. You look at your soaps. The soaps used to be like, we're EastEnders, 20 million viewers. I bet they're nowhere near that now.
No, I'll tell you what they are.
But there used to be, and it's the same with cinema box office. We're like, oh, look, The Fall Guy, it's flopped. It's only done 29 million in America. It's now done like 80 million worldwide, and it's going to go into VOD. And yes, the viewing landscape, as you said, has changed a lot. And these trolls just use the fact, they seem to ignore that fact. They're like, oh no, we won't talk about the change in the way people watch stuff.
Right now, overnights are only getting 3.54 million.
Yep.
Right, and that's EastEnders, right?
Yeah.
So they go, boom, there's your overnight figures. It's a flop, and you go, well, no, that's not the actual figures, because for 18 hours it was available to watch on iPlayer. and we don't know what those numbers are yet. Oh, spinning the numbers. Cope.
But that's what they're doing. They're spinning the numbers by going, oh, look how low it is. Well, that's not low. That's quite high for viewership nowadays.
Yeah, so the Martin Freeman drama, The Responder, got about 2.6 million overnights on the Sunday. Blue Lights 2.5 on the Sunday. They both got about 8 million after 7 days.
Do you know what I don't like? And I think they do it with a lot of TV shows now, and it's not even Doctor Who specific. I don't like how ITV and BBC put a full show or put episodes on iPlayer in advance of a live thing. It annoys me. They did it with Boiling Point when that was on. That's a great show, and it was on for 4 weeks every Sunday. But on the first Sunday, you could watch all the episodes.
I know what that with Doctor Who, and that's because Disney have literally that's the hand they've got to play. But I don't like a whole show being available at once, because I'll watch it in a day or two, and then I've got nothing. I hate that.
Yeah,
I like it when they split it up, but we won't. No matter what you tell these people about the numbers, and you say to them, you have to wait for 7 days to get the actual numbers. They go, no, the fans are leaving by the masses. You're going to be the only fans left. And you're like, what? Wait up, but I don't get it. And then when you say, there's a great guy called Jamie on Twitter, a madman, not a box, and Jamie way back to 2021 goes into screenshots of Barb, takes other shows, not just Doctor Who, and goes, here's the ratings for the overnights, here's why, here's the 7 nights, here's 20. You'll occasionally get an outlier that will come in and bring these numbers in, but that's the exception, not the rule. And he will break it down systematically, and he'll say, so Doctor Who started, it was the 10th most show of the week then, but after the 28 days, it bumped up to the 6th most watched show of the day. And he goes into this all emphatically, and he breaks it all down, and they go, nah, you're lying.
I think the sort of, we'll label them trolls. I don't mind a discussion. It's like, I will happily, if the person disagrees with me and I disagree with them, I'm all for that. It's when they start not being able to tell the difference between an opinion and a fact. You know, so Space Babies, right? I watched Space Babies. I didn't like that episode.
That's fair.
It annoyed me. And I'll go into the reasons why. And then so it really put me off watching The Devil's Cord. I'm like, if this is, and it's a stylistic choice. We all like certain things. I'm not a huge animation fan. I'm not a massive musical fan. So therefore, I'm not likely to go, oh, an animated musical, I want to watch that, because it's a personal choice type thing. So I was a little bit apprehensive about going into The Devil's Cord. And I watched it, and I preferred it to Space Babies, because the things that I didn't like about Space Babies weren't in The Devil's Cord. I think, so I'll focus on Space Babies. I saw, what was the first one called at Christmas? The church thing.
The church.
That I enjoyed. We watched that Christmas. We're like, this is really good. This is fun. We're being entertained. Doesn't necessarily feel a need to change my life, but I'm being entertained this Christmas, and I'm happy for that. So thank you to all the people who make these things. It's amazing.
It just needs to entertain you, and if it doesn't entertain you, fine. Go watch something else.
It's not difficult, is it? Going, I don't like that program, I'm going to switch it off and watch something else. They should do that, but that doesn't fit into their agenda of attacking things.
No, they've weaponized that one now. They've weaponized go watch something else, and it's now like, oh, we already are fans. We're all leaving the show in mass numbers. You're going to be. Right, I told you I was going to smatter it in. So I said, stop watching it, right? Plenty of us fans have been excluded. It's no longer for everyone, not anymore. It's pretty much for no one, in fact, and it has nothing to do with identity.
Okay, excluded. So I'll quiz you. You'll be like, I'll just be firing questions because I want to learn more. Why are people feeling excluded?
Oh, thank you, Stuart. That's what I tried to get out of this particular person.
Oh.
And I said, why can you answer me just this? I said, why do you feel excluded from Doctor Who now? Just please honestly answer the question. No waffle, no BS, just the truth. In its zeal, a religious word, in its zeal to be current and progressive, it forgot its past. In fact, it spitefully rejected it. With all the fans, casts, and creators who carried it to today, it's quite a shame.
There's not even an answer in there, really, is there? There's nothing I can really go, well, interesting point they made, because they didn't. They just used a bunch of words. So why didn't I enjoy Space Babies? And again, this is all stylistic choices for me. The soundtrack played all the way through the movie, all the way through the show, didn't it? And it was that. It might have just been the iPlayer, but I'm like, that distracted me. Again, stylistic choice. I'm like, that is wrong. It's rude, because that wasn't evident in The Devil's Chord, and it wasn't evident. So it's not a thing that Doctor Who has now started doing. I found the episode of Space Babies to be very hyper. And I was trying to describe it to Rob. I said it felt like you'd sort of left your two kids at home, and you'd gone out for the first time, and you'd got into the sweetie jar, and they were that hyped on E-numbers or something. Everything was like running around, and it was that. And I'm like, whoa, hang on a minute. This isn't the Doctor Who I remember from 15 years ago when I used to last watch it. So the stylistic choice of that kind of niggled me. I think the production design is amazing. I think the show looks gorgeous. Costume design and everything, but it was just that it was a sheer, whoa, calm down, guys. Just, I'm here to relax.
What do you think of the acting? What do you think of Millie and Chuti?
Chuti's good. I've seen Chuti in a whole bunch of stuff. Masters of the Air. I've seen a whole bunch of episodes of Sex Education, because that's where Annette first saw him. And that's what drew her to Doctor Who.
Someone on Twitter.
She's like, oh, that's him from Sex Education. I'm interested in Doctor Who again because of who he was.
I said that I thought Chuti was amazing, and I really loved his charisma and energy, because he does have he's got a cool about him as the Doctor, right? And someone said, well, let's not hand out the Oscars just yet. It's just a gay black man playing a gay black man like he did in Sex Education.
He didn't in Masters of the Air.
And I said, can you honestly not see the difference of the character that he played in Sex Education and what he's playing in Doctor Who? Because they're massively two different characters.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're not. And I said, but that's
they are.
And he goes, oh, you're coming across as a bigot. I'm coming across as a bigot.
They are different. I've seen Chuti in 3 different things, probably more than 3 different things, but the 3 things, Masters of the Air, Doctor Who, and Sex Education, different characters in all of them.
But
it's the same guy playing the roles that he's playing. It's different characters.
Steve Buscemi parts. Will Ferrell always plays Will Ferrell parts. Do you know what I mean? Yep. Right. It's not uncommon, but I agree with you that Space Babies is rapid. Like, it's just boom, 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 boom.
Even the editing, I'm like, oh, it was very, I can't remember the word, but by the end of it, you go, my brain needs a rest now for the afternoon, because I've just sensory overload. I think it's probably a good way.
Russell's previous season openings. So, first episode that he did, Rose, there was one of the characters, Mickey, gets replaced with a robot replicant, an Auton replicant, and he's rubber, and he keeps going, should we go get some pizza? And he goes, yeah, pizza, pizza, and it's cheesy, and there's a wheelie bin, and the wheelie bin, and it sucks him in and burps.
Yep.
That was your tone to start with.
Yep.
And then, the next series opener, it was the new Doctor, David Tennant and Rose, and they go to a hospital on New York in Earth, like a different Earth, right? And the villain in that is a campy villain called Cassandra, and she is one remaining beat of flesh stretched out on a board and hooked up to her brain. And in that episode, her essence, her personality, her soul is transferred into Billie Piper, and it's Billie Piper acting as this posh Lady Cassandra. And at some point, it goes into David Tennant, so you got David Tennant playing Lady Cassandra. Campy.
And also the first, I think it's probably the first episode of the Christopher Eccleston one, wasn't that like mannequins just coming out of shop windows going da, 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 da. So it's not like, I was talking to, I think it was Rob I was talking to, because he's also watched these 2 new episodes, and he was like, the bogey monster thing, it was kind of daft, wasn't it? I'm like, I didn't really pick up on the conversation with him, but listening to you talking about it, it's like having a creature made of bogies, shop mannequins, wheelie bins eating people. It's not a huge, other than the sort of sensory overload of the Space Babies thing. I didn't look at the Doctor Who episode and go, oh, they've ruined it. Oh, they killed it. They are dead and buried.
But I agree with you. The music was too loud, and that is not uncommon for Doctor Who. Like when Murray Gold was the composer, he was in the sound mix. They must have just put him up to 11, and I feel that they've done that again. Less so in the Devil's Chord,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And less so in the Church and Ruby Road. But and we're not here to critique Doctor Who. I'm here to talk about truth. But
Yeah, of course.
you said to me you didn't enjoy that episode, but you preferred the next one and you loved the one before it. So those are 3 episodes written by Russell T Davies.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what you think of next week's episode if you watch it, because it's written by Stephen Moffat.
But also, it's like, and this is where the trolls they need to get a grip, is I watched the episode of Space Babies and I didn't like it. I haven't gone online and told you, oh, you liked it, Fraser? No, you're wrong. You're wrong. It was terrible. Because me not liking Space Baby episode is my opinion, my preference. That's my stylistic choices. Some people hate Zack Snyder's slow-mo. It's obviously a stylistic choice that Zack Snyder quite likes doing, in the same way J.J. Abrams likes lens flare. And it's like, we'll just let them do it. It's, status quo hover, did it with a guitar. That's what they like doing. If you don't like that, go watch something else type thing. But
they've weaponized that now. So you and I say that all the time. If you don't like Ghostbusters, if you don't like Marvel, if you don't like DC, if you don't like, go watch something else. And then I was confronted by this same person on social media. I wasted a day.
Yep.
And they've come up with they've come up with a bingo card. And I was of things that us lefties will come back with them at. And I looked at them all, I was like, bugger me. That is literally every response I would have to one of these right-wing bigots, these trolls. And I said that to my wife, Siobhan, and she went, yeah, because they're the right responses.
Yeah.
Every time I went back to this guy, he would circle in red what I'd said on his bingo card and send it back. And I'm like, I know I've got too much time on my hands. At that point in time, I was trying to get my baby boy to sleep. I was in his room. He was in his bed. I was waiting for him to fall asleep. I had free time to go after these trolls. As soon as that was over, I was back with my wife watching the next episode of Doctor Who, or I'm back at my desk writing, or I'm back with my friends, or I'm back filming. And I have a life beyond that. And the reason I get so I know, don't feed the trolls, etc. But ever since Chuty was announced, and it was bad when it was Jodie as the Doctor, but as soon as it was Chuty, it's 100 times worse. And a really sad thing I saw was from a Twitter follower that I follow, can't remember her name, but she said, is it okay to say that I enjoyed the episodes?
Of course it is, yeah.
Scared to say that she enjoyed the episodes because these trolls are making it an unsafe place.
Yeah. And the thing is, and I can't remember what I was having this conversation about, but it was very similar, where I'd liked something. It's probably Madam Web or something like that, where there was a discourse. Heaven forbid they actually have a woman in the main title. It's getting out of hand, Fraser. They'll be everywhere before long. They'll be giving birth to children.
We know it. They'll be driving buses.
And I know people that did like the film, because I remember getting a private message from somebody who said, I really liked it as well. Glad somebody else liked it. I'm like, well, did you talk about like it? Oh, no. I don't want the trolls coming after me. I don't give a monkeys. Bring them on. I watched the Amber Heard film last year and I liked it because she was good in it. And I'm like, do an article, review. Come on. Nobody came after me. Same way nobody came after us when we went, we're going to do a podcast about wokey Ghostbusters. Nobody said a word.
$198 million in the box office and are calling it a flop.
Yep.
Of a budget of $100 million.
Disaster. And that's not even accounting for Blu-ray sales or merchandise or anything like that. So it's gone, Fraser. Just like Doctor Who's dead.
You and I have spoken about why are film fans so grumpy before, but I think it extends just beyond why are TV and film fans toxic. And it's becoming bad. They absolutely have an opinion, like you said, but don't shove it down someone's throat. Don't jump on my timeline if I say, I really enjoyed that thing. If I try not to do the mansplain thing, and I saw someone saying that they were a bit miffed that Russell was writing all the episodes of this season, but he's not, and it's wrong to say that. He's wrote most of them, and I don't agree with that. But I think there must have been a deal that Russell is an award-winning, critically acclaimed writer.
Yep.
And they said, bring back Doctor Who. And he would have been like me, and he was like, I know I can write these 6 episodes faster than anyone else, and they want to start filming in January. I'm going to go do that. but he brought in Stephen Moffat, who used to do episodes when Russell was the showrunner. He then became the showrunner, and so he wrote a lot of it as well. And now he's back. Interestingly enough, they've given him his executive producer credit back for it, which I think is a really interesting play. So he ran it like it was his show again, and he gave a very honest interview about all of that. That's really worth a read. But when Stephen Moffat was in charge, everybody fucking hated him. Stephen Moffat was not was not universally loved by the fandom. And then when he left, they're like, "Oh, bring Moff back." So now that Moff's back, and the reviews are coming in, so the Radio Times gave it 4 stars. Then Geek gave it quite a lot. So it's getting like 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. And they're calling this week's episode like an instant classic. And all you're seeing when people go, "Oh, can't wait for this episode," laughing emoji.
The laughing emoji I know is like you don't like that.
R.I.P. Doctor Who.
And I saw, right? So I'd watched Space Babies, and I'm like, okay, I know the next one, because I'd read everybody talking about this next episode, and they're like, "Oh, it's a musical episode, it's a musical one." And I'm not a fan of musicals. There are the odd exceptions, but I'm generally not a fan. That's not a musical episode. I'm not being. There's one musical number at the end, which to me, it was like, do you know what? Have some fun. You kind of earned it. It's whatever. It's a nice little closing number for the whole episode.
A reason for it.
I was expecting everybody to be singing and dancing all the way through the episode, because that's what everybody was talking about. Oh, it's a musical one. It's not. It's an episode that has music in it. That scene when she's playing the piano at the top of the building, brilliant. Loved it. Everybody's opening the windows. I'm like, that's a really touching scene. And then that scene ended. I'm like, that was good.
One of my favorite things about The Devil's Cord is the scene where the Doctor and Ruby run away. And I've got criticism, because you go from episode 1 to episode 2. It's not episode 1 and 2, because you have to count Christmas as episode 1, but it doesn't matter. But there's a time jump. So they're together at Christmas time, and then all of a sudden it's June, July in her time. So there's like 6 months of travel and we've not seen. And the rumor has it that this series of Doctor Who was supposed to go out in January, not May. But for whatever reason, that didn't happen. So now they're kind of backtracking. And they also think that The Devil's Cord was supposed to come later in the order, not
right
episode. So there's been fidgy-widginess somewhere. Yeah. But what I love is when they're running away from Maestro, and he uses the sonic to silence everything.
Yeah.
And it's Maestro realizing that the sound's been taken away from them, and they're hitting the note of the ring, and they've got it, and the shot of the water.
Yeah, the tuning for it going into the water with the little things. Yeah, that worked.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And when they come out at London now, and it's all destroyed, and it pulls back, and it's just Maestro's heel, and they go boo, and it switches to their domain. Beautiful.
Mm.
And Maestro, yeah, Jinx was over the top, but it was fine.
Is it more over the top than mannequins or wheelie bins eating people, though?
Allow me to read you minutes.
I thought Maestro. I couldn't look at Maestro and not be reminded of Bette Midler at Hocus Pocus, though.
Yep, a lot of people saw that.
It's like, that's what it reminds me of. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just amusing.
It's such a tragedy that folks with a certain political opinion drew a line and said, if you're right of this line, then you're excluded. It's not a reasonable line either. It's absurd, insane even. You made Who so exclusive, you're going to find it a lonely road. Me individually. No one else.
It's not exclusive, though, to anybody, is it? It's just...
Of the fans, it will only shrink, shrivel, and die. So I said, just leave me alone. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, if it's not your thing, leave me to enjoy it, right? And leave everyone else to enjoy it, because there's plenty of us. Leave you alone? Ha, please. You'll be the only one left after all is said and done, and all the while calling the rest the bigots. You kind of are.
So here's a question for you, right? Imagine all these fans are leaving in droves. Which, how they know that, I don't know. Maybe they've done surveys, or maybe there's an app. Maybe there's an app you can do where you can track all these fans going, nope, I'm done. So they're all leaving because they don't like the show. That's fine. If I don't like the show, I'll stop watching it. I'll go watch something else. My backlog is insane. So I could, that would be great. But why? How does that affect them? If they're not watching something that you're enjoying. And imagine you were the only person sitting watching Doctor Who, and they were making it for you, and it looked exactly the way it did. Why do these trolls give a monkeys? Who cares?
I would never have to fight Doctor Who fans on the character options website ever again. They go, we're announcing the new 15 Doctor figure, and the website crashes immediately. And they did so. They consider the Jodie Whittaker era to be like the beginning of the end, right? And introduced a character in that run, and it was another incarnation of the Doctor that we didn't know about, the fugitive Doctor, played brilliantly by what's her name? Played brilliantly by that actress I can't remember the name of.
I'll be no help because I've not seen that one, so you know. It's all down to Fraser.
Called Fugitive of the Jadoon, and it's a great episode of series 12 with Jodie, and her name, and she's popped up once or twice since. Anyway, I'm going to get her name, and I'm going to feel really silly that I've forgotten her name.
Not Catherine Tate. She's the only famous person I know that's in it at the minute, other than obviously the actors who play title role.
They finally, character options announced that they were doing a figure of the Fugitive Doctor. It's Ruth is the name of the character. The Fugitive Doctor. Yeah. The website crashed for 2 days of people trying to get a figure.
How? Nobody's buying it or watching it, though, Fraser. So this is
when they
poor website.
Screwdriver for the new series for David's comeback crashed, sold out in minutes.
To who though? Did they only have like two screwdrivers, maybe?
I'm the only one. Joe Martin. Sorry, Joe. I'm the only one left.
Hi, Joe. So how many screwdrivers are you buying, Fraser? Because you need to. This is where the crowdfunding money's going, isn't it? You buy screwdrivers, millions.
But the saying that they're leaving in the masses, right? And the only evidence they have is their fellow trolls saying that, the show's beyond parody now. Oh, the show's terrible. Oh, it's so cringe. And someone said, if I wasn't a fan, I would have switched it off after the first 10 minutes. Why didn't you?
Yeah.
And then another person goes, oh, it's so bad. Like, oh, I can't believe I'm watching this. And someone
don't watch it.
Someone said, well, don't watch it. Even hate views gives it counts. This thing needs to Coventry to die. I don't know if that's code. And he says, oh, I'm only watching this one, mate, and then I'll leave the rest to the reviewers. No, you won't. You'll be tuning into the next one. But
why pay attention to the reviewers if they don't like the show? That's what I don't understand. It's like if you find something and you like it, you keep watching it, or you keep listening to it, you keep reading it, whatever. If you don't like it, just move on to something. I don't understand why they go, let's dance on its grave and let's try and destroy this thing that other people like, and just no. Why? I don't get it.
It's so bad. Right. There's a great YouTube guy called Mr. TARDIS Reviews, and he covers us better than we ever will, right? But I'm gonna share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you. There's one YouTube so Mr. Hat, Hat McGlasses.
Yeah.
So he follows a channel, and he tagged him in, and it's Nerddrotic, right? And they're just right wing bigots, right? They've got 1 million subscribers, and I'm not going to play any of his stuff, but I'm going to show you his YouTube page.
Yeah,
and you'll understand what I'm talking
about. Oh wow!
Right?
Yeah, but look at the views.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
South Park destroys Disney. Yeah, and this is. It's weird. It's like, and we talked about it. If we did 2 videos going, 1, Doctor Who's amazing, and 2, Doctor Who is terrible, the terrible one would get more views. And I don't understand that mentality, and I probably never will.
Silver Surfer, the Fantastic Four is doomed.
Yeah. The Marvels is awful. The Marvels isn't awful, so... You know, the Witcher is dead. Well, it's not, because it's got another season yet. So woke Hollywood is failing, and that's a good thing. That's a nice. Oh, looks like a nice. But look how many views, 5.8 million. Why can't I get those views? I want those views, but I don't want them that way.
Woke Hollywood is over.
Disney Marvel admits failure. maybe you could say it's not even that. It's Disney have realized that what they were doing and with Marvel wasn't working, so they're course correcting. That's what everybody should do with their stuff anyway.
Doctor Who. It's not Disney. It's not Disney's Doctor
Disney's Doctor Who.
Disney's Doctor Who attacks.
Rebel Moon Part 2. The cringe guy enjoyed Rebel Moon Part 2. How dare they?
You have this guy, right? And then you've got the rabbi from another planet. He's not a rabbi. That's a lie.
Is he from another planet?
No. So look at his ones.
Liar.
Look at the image he uses.
Oh, look at his views though.
Star Wars and 20. Yeah, yeah. Look at his views.
Oh, see, that's more like my channel, but I've not got 3.9 thousand subscribers.
Doctor Who News Warp. The first reviews are in, and the overwhelming response is meh. It's not.
His thumbnails are too busy. I'm just saying. So another planet. They're too busy. Too much info in there for a thumbnail.
And unhedged hatred of the Jews. When did Doctor Who? When did we ever hate the Jews?
I must have missed that episode.
And it's just, why's they got Chuty in a cheerleading outfit?
I must have missed that episode as well, and I think I've seen them all.
And
as in all the Chuty ones.
I wonder if Mr. Rabbi from another planet is hiding in a closet.
I think so.
Because look at that one, and then look at that one, and that one.
But they're just obsessed. But it's unhealthy to be a troll, isn't it?
Why have they got a 19-year-old girl photoshopped in an image like that?
Oh, was that his face? Did we see the rabbi there with a big beard? Big old, oh, that's a nice basement.
J.K.
Rowling. God, what's that one? J.K. Rowling spanks Scotland's woke First Minister. Well, I should change that to X.
I'd like to point out, hate speech law, it's not Scotland specific. It also exists in England and Wales. And it happened there before us.
Yep. Doctor Who news. See, the thumbnails are just... They're not even working, though, are they, really? Because, I mean, look at that Doctor... So go up a bit. Go up a bit to that one. The Doctor Who News Warp merchandise, right? That's kind of a pretty thumbnail. I don't know who she is, but she's wearing attractive clothes. It's not working because you've only got 298 views.
He's photoshopped that actress's head onto that photo. That's not what that actress looks like.
Oh, my God.
That's Lala Ward. Not Lala Ward. That's she played Leela in the Tom Baker era.
All right, okay.
That's not.
Yeah. Wow, Disney. So you need to spend more time on his content, less time. Disney clings to their bonkers religion of transgenderism and whatever that is. 58 views. That's terrible.
I think the point is clear here. If it is not straight white men or straight white people, it's wrong. Yep. And if you dare say, well, you're being a bigot or you're homophobic or you're being transphobic or any phobic, really, because you feel that you're now excluded because the show is no longer a straight white man. And tell me, am I wrong? Because going through Nerdrotic's channel and going through Rabbi from Another Planet's channel, am I wrong? Is that not what it implies? But when you say that, they go, it's not about race. It's not about colour.
So what is it? What is it about? And they can't tell you.
Yeah, I didn't see anything there about David Tennant.
No. I think there is a danger. It's like if I went on Twitter and went, do you know what? I watched Space Babies, and if I didn't watch the other episodes, I watched the new Doctor Who episode, didn't like it, don't like what they've done with the show. Right? That is correct in my opinion. Because for me, it's the music, the fast-paced editing, and just the sheer hyperness of that episode. But there would be a certain bunch that come after me and go, "Oi, you're being a bigot." It's like, I'm not being a bigot. I didn't mention any casting or any roles or anything like that. It's the editing and the music and stuff. So the internet is just a toxic mad hole.
I've seen some people saying, I didn't enjoy Space Babies because of X, Y, and Z. And I go, great, you've got a reason that's rational. It's not like I did a genuine thing. Let's see if I can find it.
And that was me and Hat Glasses, which we were having a reasonable conversation about studio things, and I was holding my own with that. He was like, "Oh, this is a flop. Godzilla -1 was a success. Godzilla -1 was a success in relative to its budget. However, if Godzilla -1 had cost $300 million, it would have been a flop because it only made like 120. And it's things like that. But these trolley people twist it to they just bend things into their shapes that they want. And then, yeah, they're wasting too much of our time when we're on Twitter.
So I've reported this post, but this is the level of intelligence you're working with, right? And this is if you can look at this and you say and you can't say and you say to me, no, this isn't racism or homophobia, then I stop talking.
Yeah. Right. So this one. So I'm looking at Dave's, am I? So start here.
This does not learn. Doctor Who is now an African homosexual, and because I refuse to watch, I can't confirm if the song and dance routine was a part of the show. Please advise.
Okay. I'm going to dissect the first one. BBC does not learn. We could put that to one side. Doctor Who is now an African homosexual. Well, he's not, because he's an alien. He's Doctor Who. He's from Gallifrey. And because I refuse to watch, I can't confirm. Where's he ripped that clip from? I can't confirm if the song and dance routine was a part of the show. Well, yes, it was. Please advise. Why do you care? If you're not watching it, why do you care if it's part of the show? The show with the BBC deserves to die in the dark.
And
okay.
It's no longer Doctor Who. It's an entirely different show that just happens to have the same name. So fans of the original show can't relate to it. It's for a different audience. But because
okay. Well, let's go to that and let's say I think that this, and I'll use Space Babies as the main one, but I have seen all of them. It does feel different to previous iterations of Doctor Who to me. Tom Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Peter Davidson. But also Daniel Craig's James Bond feels very different to the Roger Moore James Bond. Same thing. Everybody will always have their favorite Doctor Who's.
Yeah.
They can like them all. They can like more than one, but they'll always have one where they go, that is my Doctor. Doesn't mean I'm not discounting the other Doctors. Who's yours, Fraser? Who would be?
Sylvester McCoy, because he was the first Doctor I watched growing up. And then David Tennant.
Yep.
But I absolutely loved Matt Smith. I
like Matt Smith.
Capaldi is just incredible. I love Jodie Whittaker, and I love Judy.
Yep.
But David's my favorite. Like, he is just that's as hard as mine. But I agree with you. You will have your favorite James Bond. You will have your favorite Doctor, or whatever. But don't be racist.
No, and I looked, looking at the new Doctor Who, so say Chuti's Doctor Who. Yes, it looks very different from some previous seasons of Doctor Who, but it still feels like Doctor Who.
It's still an alien who's a Time Lord in a box going around the universe fighting monsters.
Yeah.
And so Siobhan saw a thing. So Siobhan's in a couple of Doctor Who groups, and you love this one, right? And someone said, well, I don't like the new episode because I've been a fan since blah blah blah, and it's not good because of whatever. And someone replied, and ignoring that nugget of gold, someone replied, well, I trump you because I've watched it since Troughton, so I know more than you, and I think it sucks because of this, and this. And Siobhan replied and went, the reason that the fandom is as bad as it is because of you. Like, this is the reason why the Doctor Who fandom is trash. Because no one hates Doctor Who more than Doctor Who fans.
Yeah.
And it's got like Jodie brought in a whole bunch of new fans. Like people from the LGBTQ community all came on for Jodie. People who'd wanted a woman doctor for years and years, they all came in, and they were all about, anywhere between 11 and 40, 50, 60, 70 years of age, but mostly like young women. And gatekeeping old Doctor Who fans were saying to them, you're not allowed to be a part of this fandom. And they would troll them off of Twitter. And there's a great woman, Beth, and Beth's got to do some Doctor Who magazine work. Beth's in her 20s. Beth's great. Big Doctor Who fan, loves the classic era. But because she did an article in Doctor Who magazine, all the men went after her, saying, you don't deserve to be here.
It's just the entitlement, isn't it? And this, Star Wars fans, and just, they're the worst. But it's like, I've watched 3 Chuti episodes in the past month. Well, I've watched 2 in the past 24 hours. I don't remember, so they're kind of fresh in my mind. I don't remember any scenes or anything in either of those episodes where the doctor played by Chuti was having discussions about who he sleeps with. I remember that. That wasn't in it. So why does it matter what Chuti's life is like when he's off the set? Why should that impact people enjoying a show about a Time Lord who used to live on Gallifrey?
So I said, if you're not watching because the show is woke, and they've said that they feel excluded because the past has been jettisoned, and the only way the past has been jettisoned in their eyes is that it's not a straight white man in the party anymore. There's nothing, right?
Yeah.
And I said, if you're not watching the show because you're woke and not because you've simply outgrown the show, then yeah, your true colours start to shine through. And I got, you're putting words in my mouth, I'm not, and making arrogant assumptions about me, I'm not. You told another fan to shut up and go away, I did. I will watch you in silence. That's weird.
That's kind of creepy, that. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy. I will watch you in silence whilst you sleep is the only way to make that more creepier.
If I was a woman and a man tweeted that at me, I could go to the police.
Yeah, of course you could.
So as you continue spinning the numbers, right? Oh, and I need to talk about the numbers. In 7 days, the rest of us just shake our heads as the number drops. Apathy. And I said, answer the question. Why do you feel excluded from Doctor Who? And I just said, I said, you're a creep. Like, I can't even see what I said. I genuinely called him a creep. I said, watch me in silence is really creepy.
It is.
I said, dear goodness, how am I excluding anyone? The show is for everyone. It's got ties back to the lore of the show and 60 years plus of history, and it's now moving forward to reflect current social issues and trends. For a show that's dead, you like to talk about it a lot. Plenty of fans have been excluded. It's no longer for anyone. It's not for anybody. Blah blah blah. You've specifically labelled me a bigot, but where did he say that I called him a creep? Because he is a creep. But he says he's going to watch me in silence.
I don't get how shows exclude people, though. I mean, if you're a pupil at a school and you get excluded, you normally get taken into the headmaster's office and kicked out. I don't know how a TV show does that.
So they keep bouncing on the overnights of 2.6 and 2.4. And let's say that was the true numbers, right? Not bad for a drama.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the true numbers because we've still got iPlayer to do. But 2.6 million people watched the first one and 2.4 million watched the second one. That's not a massive drop-off between Space Babies and The Devil's Cord.
No, that's not like, imagine you did an Indiegogo campaign and you made 2.6 million on the first one. And then you did another one and you only made 2.4. You're going to go, do you know what? I'm out. Clearly the bubbles burst. I'm done. But the fans have left in droves. I have no supporters whatsoever.
What I've noticed is that the people commenting this stuff, they're all American, right? The majority is American. They've all got somewhere between 80 followers and 149. And they've all got paid for blue ticks.
Yeah.
There's a theme, right?
Yeah.
All go for the UK overnight ratings, and you go, well, that's half the story. Even the professionals are saying this isn't the full story. Wait for 7 days. Like the people who review TV say this is not the full story. Oh no, you're wrong. They never focus on the fact that this show now has a worldwide audience in Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney will never release the numbers.
No.
Because then they have to admit how much money they're making and then they have to pay the writers the proper amount of money.
Yep.
Disney have no obligations whatsoever to say 10 million people watched Doctor Who this weekend. And maybe they didn't all watch it this weekend. Maybe people were busy. Maybe they're going to wait until all 8 episodes are up and binge it.
Some do. I watched them yesterday. I watched one this morning. The Devil's Cord, I watched this morning. It's the 14th of May, and it's not the weekend. It's Tuesday, whatever.
I did a bit of research, and Doctor Who is currently in the top 10 on Disney Plus in America. But it's dying, Stuart. It's
dying. Fake numbers. Disney are just manipulating it with their crazy agendas.
Why would you trust Disney? They think trans people have equal rights. This is literally this is why I wanted to do this with you. And he is not special. Watch him come back and say, "You've misgendered me." Yeah, Weinstein. But like he's absolutely not the exception, and I will be blocking him. Like I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I turned around and said, "Look, we've potentially got off on the bad foot here, on the wrong foot here.
Yeah.
Let's be humans. let's have a conversation. You tell me what's bothering you, and I'll tell you what's bothering me. You came into that and you saw that, hatchets were buried. And he's been talking to you about filth. Although I did think it was so funny that he said the mummy would never be made today. Why?
Yeah, why?
Why would the mummy?
It also came back with, I mean, we're having a reasonable chat about clickbait things. And clickbait, I mean, we've seen it from the thumbnails that you showed. The clickbait thing's horrendous. It is bad. But we as adults can choose not to click on a click. We know a clickbait headline when we see it. But he was coming back going, oh, it's human nature to click on it. Well, it's not in mine. If I see a clickbait headline and I never put them on my site, it's not like, oh, I know what will get people. Check this trailer. I'm not going to tell you what it is. No, it's like, here's the new Deadpool trailer. Done. You don't need to click on it to know what the story's about. And he put some scantily clad woman thing in there. And I'm like, I still read the text before I looked at the picture.
Yeah, because the picture was at the bottom. And it's still admitted that it didn't do him any good.
Yep.
So did you just want a half-naked woman, an AI half-naked? Is that where we're at? So
Apparently,
he is not unique. He is absolutely, no. And he even said to me yesterday, "I don't want Doctor Who to die. I've been sharply critical of the current series. I'm not optimistic for the future. Wish I was wrong. I blame mostly RTD's bitterness. Chuty and co should stop telling the remaining audience, if you don't like it, don't watch. They just may." What Chuty said was, if you can't watch a show because it's got a black actor in it, go outside and touch some grass. So he's saying,
which is true.
So if you say, if you can't watch this show because you can't relate to a person of color who doesn't look like you in the mirror, this show's not for you. Go do something else. And you go, fine, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something else. What does that say about you?
But also, if you watch a TV program and it makes you angry, right? Whether it's for the right reasons or whether it's for the wrong reasons, you need to not watch that TV program. Yeah. You shouldn't wake up in the morning and go, do you know what? I'm going to watch something that's going to really annoy me because I hate it and I don't agree with what they're doing and it makes me mad. Don't do something fun. We're only on this planet, unless you're a doctor, because he's around for a long, long time. Years, decades, centuries, hundreds, millions of years. Right. And just do fun stuff.
But their logic, they say, well, I don't like it, so no one else likes it, therefore no one's watching the show, which is simply not the case.
No, it's the mistake between facts and opinion.
It's like, hey guys, I'm right, and you're all going to follow them, guys. Oh,
it's like... my opinion is I didn't enjoy the Space Babies episode.
Oh,
I cannot turn around and then say nobody enjoyed the Space Babies episode. Everybody hates it. The fandom thinks it's terrible.
I
can't do that. I could say I didn't like it for my various reasons, soundtrack and fast editing and stuff.
Enjoyed Space Babies. I thought it was a nice bit of fluff, but I prefer Devil's Cord.
Yeah, I did.
Ellie, Ruby and the Doctor going through the TARDIS and going in one door and then coming out the other door in their sixes outfit and her cute little kick and them just like dancing. I love that. And the bit at the rain at the end and on the zebra crossing and stuff. The Beatles song about a dog was just hilarious.
Well, that came on. I'm like, what? My favorite part of the Devil's Cord episode was when Chuty and Millie were sitting down with the respective Beatles having conversations. And I'm like, that's nice. It was just dialogue and talking, and I enjoyed that.
Babies, when Captain Poppy says to the Doctor, did I come out, have I grown up wrong? And he says, nobody grows up wrong.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like sometimes dialogue like that does rise above the other stuff, and that's where the trolls are focusing. They're laser focused into it, going, get it. And it's a shame that they do that rather than just go, okay, and then they move on and enjoy the rest of the thing. But
even on the flip side of that, and these aren't trolls, these are Doctor Who fans, and I'm seeing a lot of this trend of, for anyone who cares, here's my rating on the episode so far. Like, so the Church and Ruby Road 7 out of 10, Space Babies 4 out of 10, Devil's Cord 10 out of 10, blah blah. And then someone else goes in, well, I think it was that, and there's no argument between them. There's no nastiness. But they're all jumping in, and I'm like, I don't care enough to rate an episode of anything. No. I don't watch X-Men and go 10 out of 10.
I don't rate movies.
I watch the thing, and then I move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I don't dwell because there's not enough time.
No, there's not.
But the thing that pisses me off most about this Doctor Who thing is that this is a show that is literally for everybody. There is wheelchair users, there's disabled people in it, there's old people in it, young people in it, people from all sorts of backgrounds and races and countries, and LGBTQ people, gay people, bi people, trans people. Straight people are in this show. Straight people still exist, guys. We've not been wiped out. There are white. Do you know what I mean? It's literally a show for all. But Doctor Who is a sci-fi show that's been going since 1963. It is a miracle that it's still on TV today. It's unheard of.
It went away for a long, long time and then came back with the Paul McGann movie, didn't it?
Years off with the wilderness years. But the fans have kept it alive. But these certain fans now look at it and go, well, I'm not a black queer guy, or I'm not a trans man, or I'm not a trans woman, or I'm not a gay man, or I'm not a gay woman. And they go, well, it's not for me anymore. It's like, so you can't relate to somebody just because they don't look like you.
I remember watching The Terminator back in 1984 and I felt excluded because I wasn't a cyborg from the future, to be honest. So I could kind of relate to that. And I thought, I watched Star Wars. I'm like, you know what? I'm not a Jedi. I feel excluded. It's not for me.
It's a TV show.
Yep.
It's as life-changing that I have made a lot of friends because of Doctor Who. My writing career exists because I wanted to write on Doctor Who. Like, I grew up watching Doctor Who and I go, this is what I want to do as a living. It's done a lot of good for a lot of people, but it's also, if you don't think it's for you because you just don't enjoy it anymore, fine, that's your opinion. Absolutely on board with that. It's when you say they're excluding me, that's when I get annoyed. And then they turn it around on you and they call you the bigot. I thought, what? Me the feminist? So
I mean, you don't make any money from Doctor Who. I don't make any money from Doctor Who. So we haven't got shares in Doctor Who, right? So if the viewing numbers go up, we don't get paid. I got
called a shill. I got called a BBC shill. It said, I bet this guy, Livid Pigeon, I believe it was, and they said, you work for the BBC, you're a shill.
Wow, you're like, I wish.
That bio says my fairy tale documentaries on BBC Alba. So I said, I did work for the BBC. I worked for the BBC from 2013 to 2018 as a runner and as a researcher. It was on a freelance contract basement. It wasn't a permanent contract. I no longer work for them. In 2023, I did a one-off documentary through an independent production company who took it to the BBC Alba and it got made. I was in we've exposed them, guys! And they tag in Mr. McGlasses and they tag in Nerdrotic and they tag in Heels for Wheels or whatever. Don't know what that is. And they go, we've exposed the shell, guys. He works with the BBC. I caught
exposed. You mean, what do you mean? You read your bio and found out you made a documentary that's on iPlayer? It's like,
but then I said in the tweet, I did work for the BBC.
Yeah,
and that is the level of IQ that you're dealing with.
I think they're like a lot of them are like the football thugs of the football world, and not. They go, oh, we're football fans. You're kind of not, though, because you go there for a fight type thing. But the reason I mentioned the profit sharing on Doctor Who, to which we, of course, make millions, is the ones that I feel sorry for, maybe to use a phrase, are the ones who read comments about, oh, Doctor Who's dead and it's woke and it's terrible, and then go, oh, we'll watch it then.
Yeah.
Do what I did and just watch it yourself. Two things will happen. One, you'll enjoy it and you'll go, I like the show, I'm going to carry on watching it. Or you might watch it and go, not really a fan, but I've given it a go, and not just based my viewing habits on some, nameless tweeter moron or whatever. Watch it yourself. It's just,
there's just, that goes to any TV show, any movie. Of
course it does. Yeah.
Like, don't remember that remember when Madam Web came out and it goes, oh, now that's something that you don't like, I'm not going to bother. And I'm like,
you see a lot of that. A lot.
Make your own mind up.
Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for you saying it was terrible, Fraser. I'll save watching it now.
But then,
I watched it. I like Madam Web. Is it in my top 10 a year? Probably not, unless there's like no other good films coming out this year.
But when you read people, I'm not going to watch it because you said so, that to me is very sheepish behaviour, right?
Yeah.
But then when you say that you like that thing, oh, you're just part of the sheep.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with watching a TV show going, I'm not a fan of it because the editing stuff, whatever, if the stylistic choice is not to your liking, whether it's, I don't like animated, or I don't like musicals, or it's the editing's too fast paced, or there's nothing wrong with that at all. Nobody's expecting everybody to like everything, but to not like it for things that don't exist.
Put your little bingo card down.
Yes. And go touch some grass.
Go outside. Go watch anything that you. For anyone who goes, Doctor Who is dead. It's not what it used to be. You've got 50 years of straight white men playing the Doctor.
Yeah.
Go enjoy that. That's fine. I'm not going to fault. I am going to make an active try of not with trolls anymore, because it is the great meme of, you can teach a pigeon to play chess, but it's still going to shit on the board and fly away. That's
yeah.
I try and deal with troll. So I'm not going to bother anymore. I'm just going to block them straight away. Block, right? Because there's no winning. But what I will say is that if you have an opinion and it's a genuine opinion and you just want to have a conversation about it, great. Like you said to me, you didn't enjoy Space Babies. I didn't immediately go, block, Stuart, block.
Yeah, you're wrong. Because I explained why it wasn't for me. I
agree. I preferred the second episode more than the first.
Yeah.
But if you do enjoy it, don't be scared. This is a fandom, and any fandom, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Marvel, DC, we're all here because we all like that thing. Like you and I, massive Red Dwarf fans. There's not never get this level of discourse on Red Dwarf fans. I'm just saying, I don't remember infighting in Red Dwarf. I can't relate to that because I'm not.
Which Holly do you prefer? No, I prefer Norman. I prefer Hattie. You're wrong. Bang, let's fight. Like them both.
We go get drunk with Hattie. But
yeah, Hattie's my favorite, by the way. She's great.
But we're all here because we love that a particular fandom, and we all want to make friends out of that. And couples get together, and couples, that you can get married and have Doctor Who weddings. It should be joyous and celebrated and loved. And like you were saying, if it makes you angry, don't do it. If it makes you happy, celebrate it. If a wank stain of a human, and I'm giving them credit, jump on your timeline and go, boo, wrong, diversity, great word, diversity higher, or cope, that's a new word, cope.
Triggered. Yeah.
Falling for the message. Oh, the triggering intensifies, using a South Park. What people don't understand about South Park is it's also taking the piss out of the people who fall for it. Like,
yeah, of course it is.
You sit there going, oh, South Park really owning Kathleen Kennedy. No, they're owning you, sir.
Yep.
They're owning you.
Is that Kathleen Kennedy, one of the most successful film producers ever? Yes. Well, it's different from a studio head. It's true. It is. But, let's look at the box office of Star Wars. How many have made an absolute ton of money? Oh, most of them.
How much money have you made? Probably not. Anyway.
Probably none from your basement. No.
So, block them. Ignore them. They're not worth it. I imagine our friend might watch this and he's definitely going to comment on it. And that's fine.
I'm fine. Do you know what? Me and him were having a reasonable discussion about how to change the studio system and how to fix things. And he wasn't a dick to me. I will say that. But, you can see where people are headed. And you're like, oh, yeah. And you just watch for it. And if they get to that point where you're like, join me, then you block them.
Went away with me as well, and then they've come back and said that they're going to watch me in silence, and I'm not comfortable with that.
No, that's kind of creepy. He's not watching me in silence. Maybe he's watching me in silence without telling me he's watching me in silence.
Yeah. So
hello.
And anything we've said is not anything they've not said. So
no,
there's no libel to be had here. There's no slander to be had.
Oh here. God, no, not at all.
But yeah, don't worry about them. I wasted a day on them. That was too long. I have a wife and a child and a film to finish.
You could have rewatched all the Ghostbusters movies in that time.
He said it's a pity because he was going to watch Faithful when it was finished, and I guess now he's not. And I was like, I don't want you to watch it.
Yeah, but why not though? It's just like I'll still watch. I don't want to specific, whatever. But it's like if I don't like somebody, but they make a film that looks interesting, I'll still watch it. Within reason. There's probably a few exceptions, but.
He said that, and I said, "Well, you wouldn't like it anyway because it's quite woke and it's quite, I don't want you to feel excluded."
It's not woke. Faithful looks amazing, and obviously I've only seen the behind the scenes stuff, but
there's a woman lead and there's no male lead.
No, but there's males in it.
There are males in it, but they're not the focus.
No, that's because that's not the story you've written. That's why.
but that someone will shout.
Yeah.
But my point is, it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
No. Watch what you watch. Like what you like. If you don't like something, don't waste your entire afternoon spitting venom at those who did like it.
I feel better because I said that I was going to jump on a podcast about this, and he went, "Oh, you're doing a hate podcast." I want to make.
Yes.
I'm making this explicitly clear. This is not a hate podcast.
No.
Stuart and I do not do hate anything. Stuart and I are so positive and so supportive, and we are nice people, and we want people to succeed and be happy and live a lovely life, and we want people to watch the films that get made in TV shows.
Yep.
This is simply two pals having a conversation about how miffed we are.
Yeah.
So toxic. Like, go touch some grass. Like, really, it's not worth your time.
And I went out last Friday to Skipton Castle and we touched some grass and we felt so much better because we got out and we got some fresh air and we walked around an old castle and it was nice. And we had a nice little tea and a coffee and it was great. Went out, touch grass, do it. But I didn't spend all the time on Twitter attacking people for things I don't like.
So I can walk away from it and go, you know what? I'm going to spend time with my child who's kind of coming in and coming out.
He is making little. He's phasing in and phasing out of this dimension. Ah, that's kind of
Obi-Wan hologram right now. Help
yes.
Me, help. But I have more important things to concern my life with, including going on my honeymoon in a few days. So yeah, this is not a hate podcast.
Not at all.
It'll be spun the way it will be chosen to get spun. And I guarantee you, your views on this will be watched closely.
Good. Should I do a thumbnail going awful or something? I need to get like a real hate mongery thumbnail. But to be fair, the rabbi's one, it didn't work for him. So, you know.
Dr. Woke is a classic. Or Dr. They like Dr. They.
Dr. They.
But
yep. I will try and come up with something semi-clever. Not as clever as the spinning that the trolls do, but, you know, I'll give it my best.
But what are you doing? 5 little fishes swimming in the sea? Is it because you know you're on the telly?
Hi, Harrison.
Bye-bye.
Hello from England.
Like, I don't speak. Right. I shall end this podcast now, and then I'll say goodbye to you properly. But
brilliant.
You know, a privilege and a joy, and we will see what the response is.
We will indeed. I'm leaving the comments on, so come on, people, leave some comments. I'll happily chat with you all. So, yeah.
Right, ending this now.
Cool.